to talk to you about fishing today and essential activities. The governor of Florida has said fishing is essential because some people depend upon that for food, and with markets having empty shelves, etc., we have to allow people to go fishing. Interestingly, in other news, other states have had their law enforcement officers stop people and let them know they're going to be fined $1,000 if they travel for non-essential travel. And no, going to pick up a boat that you just bought is not essential. And no, a day on the lake fishing is not essential travel. So how are we supposed to know what's essential fishing and what isn't? What is the criteria? Well, I want to take you to a story in Scripture that's going to help us understand that. Matthew and Mark tell this story almost exactly the same way and don't give us all the detail we're going to talk about later, but I want you to listen to this passage from Mark. It says, one day Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee. There he saw Simon and his brother Andrew. They were throwing a net into the lake. They were fishermen. Come and follow me, Jesus said, and I will send you out to fish for people. At once they left their nets and they followed him. Now, Mark is really good about telling us how fast things happen, but I want you to notice there's more to this story. This story happens when Jesus is calling his very first disciples, and he happens upon a lake, and at this lake there were two groups of men fishing. First there is Peter and his brother Andrew, and then secondly there's James and John in another boat. Now, I want to point out they are fishing, they are not catching. There's a whole different kettle of fish here. They've been fishing all night, they're tired, they're exhausted, they're feeling like we as professional fishermen are not getting what we need here. But the workday isn't over. They still have to clean these nets, they still have to mend them because casting them over and pulling them back. And it's against that setting of their frustration that Jesus says, come, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. I believe God calls us to essential fishing. And he does it sometimes when we are most frustrated and exhausted. And maybe you're feeling some of those things today. Maybe a little discouraged, maybe a little bit wondering if it will get better and when. Luke adds to this story, and he says that Jesus finds them washing their nets. That's where we get that part of this frustrating day. And he approaches Peter and Andrew and says, I have an idea. Take me back out on the lake and let's go fishing. Did I mention they're tired, they're exhausted, but out of respect for Jesus, they say, okay, fine, you're a rabbi. Let's get in the boat, let's go fishing. They're shaking their heads going, if we haven't caught anything all night, there's no way we're going to catch anything now. This is not tourist season. But surprisingly, their nets come back full. Their nets come back so full that they need help bringing it in, which is how we get James and John into our story. The four of them together is who Jesus says, come, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Then John, that one on the boat, adds to the story by telling us about Andrew. Andrew, the brother of Peter, is the one who had first introduced Peter to Jesus. He had been a follower of John the Baptist and had come and gotten Peter, and he says, you've got to meet this guy. This is the Messiah. This is the one everybody's talking about. It's interesting to me that out of all of these four men, Peter and Andrew and James and John, Andrew is the only one who doesn't become part of Jesus's inner circle, the ones who get to spend that close time with him when no one else does. See, fishing isn't about what we get in our nets. Fishing is about the essential fishing, is about being a follower of Jesus and doing things with Jesus because he can do miraculous things that we could never do, things that we think are impossible. God has sent us out of the building for this season, which is sad because we love our building. We love there. We're comfortable there. We like it. But God has said, no, for a season, I need you to go follow me. And I'm going to make you fishers of men because essential fishing isn't about feeding our bodies. It's about feeding our souls. Essential fishing is about following Jesus. Essential fishing is about allowing Jesus to work through us so that we can work through others, work with others. We are still the church. That has not changed. We are followers of Jesus who band together to do what God calls us to do God's will. So come with me as we follow Jesus together. Let's go out and fish for people in these unusual circumstances, see how God fills our nets to bursting, and help each other when that happens, and then let us know how your catch goes.